Hi, everyone, and welcome to Traveller Mayday, Mayday 2026. I'm your host, Frank Siccardi from CyborgPrime Games. I'm chatting today with my friend Bob Loftin, creator of SAFCOcast, a popular Traveller and Cepheus Engine podcast. Hi, Bob.
Hey Frank, thanks for
Thanks
having me
for
back.
thanks for joining us.
I think this is the third time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I appreciate your willingness to participate in the event.
I've had a good time talking to you the last couple of years, so
Oh,
it's
great.
just a good chance to have a fun conversation.
Fantastic, fantastic. Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into Traveler. You don't have to give us the, blow by blow, but let us
Yeah.
tell us how you got into Traveler and what you do with Traveler now.
Yeah, so we probably went into like some real detail in um previous interviews, so
Mhm.
kind of quickly, I suppose. I got into Traveler when I was 15, which would have been like 19 I think it was actually in 1980, and I had we were playing D&D. A friend had Traveler. They called me and said, "Hey, do you want to play Traveler?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What is it?" And they told me, "It's like, yep, I'm in." So we started playing Traveler, and it was a lot of fun. We didn't really, I think, understand how to use the rules very well, um, and now that makes sense to me because on one of the first pages of book one, it actually says that Traveler is a game for mature players. And I know we thought we were mature, but we definitely weren't. But we still had a lot of fun with the game. So we started playing and we played and played. And I know you're a huge fan of Champions. We played Traveler and D&D until Champions came out, and then we just dropped everything and it's played Champions for years. But it's been about 10 years ago. I just had an itch and I'm like, I think I'm going to order the little black book. So I ordered a box set from eBay and got it. And then maybe a few months after that, I talked to our gaming group and we had been playing GURPS Cyberpunk and asked them if they wanted to play Traveler. Because, like a lot of people, a lot of them owned the books, but never actually played.
Hmm.
And so everybody said, "Yeah, let's try this." And so I cobbled together some sessions, rolled up a subsector, and we played. And my original idea was that we were going to play about 6 games, short campaign, and then go back to GURPS Cyberpunk. And I had so much fun with Traveler that even though I loved the other game, I we never went back.
Hmm.
It's that campaign technically is still running, I guess, but I just kind of fell back in love with Traveler, and that's been the game that I want to run pretty much since then. Although I do also run a D&D 5e campaign for a couple of the Traveler players and my wife.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and I'm having a good time with that. I I know some people don't like 5e or whatever. I actually kind of like it. I throw a lot of it out because the game world I created is a little bit more Conan and Fritz Lieber esque. It's not quite as gonzo like with bird people and stuff
Right.
um, as a typical D&D game, but we're still having a good time with it. But anyway, back to Traveler. I guess maybe a year, maybe it might not have even been a year into the Traveler campaign. My friend Jeff and I just decided, hey, let's try a podcast about our gaming. And so the guys had, of course, given their Traveler characters a company that they named Super Adventure Friends Co. And so we just decided to call it SAFCOcast, and it was going to be like about the gaming of the whole group, right? It was gonna cover everything. Um, and after about 15 episodes, Jeff and I we were just so into Traveller that that's all we really wanted to talk about, and that's all we did talk about. So we kind of made the official switch. I think after episode 14 or 15 to being exclusively about what I usually call now 2D6 science fiction role playing is Traveller or Cepheus Engine or whatever, Clement Sector, all the things that kind of branched off. And we tried to cover all of that. So anyway, that's the and you know the podcast is we still are doing the podcast. We haven't.
How many episodes have you got, or for how many years have you been doing that?
Oh,
Oh, I
that
didn't
is
mean to put you on
something
the
I
spot.
should. No, no, I will. I. That's the nice thing about sitting at a computer right now. I can look it up. Let's see. Where are you? SafeCoCast. So, the next episode will be episode 42. The first episode came out on May 27th, 2019.
Hmm.
So, and that was, we talked about our history in gaming and then GURPS and Traveler and our trip to a local con. Um,
No, cool.
so, yeah, and I, like, as listeners know, and Jeff and I complain all the time that we haven't been able to produce very many episodes lately, but I mean, that's just the way it is. And we're trying.
It's hard to
But
keep
I,
a schedule, man. Every year I produce this and I get such great feedback and I'm like, wow, that was really fun and I got a lot of great feedback and I can't wait to, put something together and I have all these intentions and then like months go by and it's like I haven't produced any videos. It's like, what in the heck happened?
well, we're both really busy. Jeff is very busy. And over the last year, we've actually been playing a lot. And this may actually, yes, I'm jumping down in our list of stuff to talk about. But um, I think in about April of last year, I just decided I was going to try to get the group together on a weekly basis and do short weekly games on Tuesday nights. And so we didn't manage to do it weekly, but we played a lot more than we did in other previous years.
Mm,
Whereas before, like I feel like we were lucky to get in six like 4 hour sessions in a year. Playing online and it just makes everything so much easier, man.
hmm
It's easier to get everyone together. It's easier to do on a weeknight after work because nobody you don't have to spend an hour driving around. And the 2 hour sessions are awesome because they're really easy to prep for. They're not too hard on the referee or the players. And after 2 hours, I usually we come to a spot where we can put things on hold for a week or two or whatever is necessary.
hmm
And it gives me time to like I can review what happened, and I think it's made the campaign a lot better.
mm,
Like I can think on my feet pretty well for 2 hours after work. Even like on a Saturday after 2.5 hours, it's hard to be sharp and like when you're improvising things.
hmm
And so it's really worked out well. This year, um, I just announced to the guys we're going to go to like every 2 weeks. Um, and I'm not totally sure I want to do that, but we're going to try that. The problem with doing it every 2 weeks is that then if you have to cancel one of the games for some reason, there's a lot of time between the games and you lose
Yeah.
that momentum that we've had. So, um, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I really liked playing weekly, but I've been running last year I was running Traveller on Tuesday nights and then D&D in person here at our house on
Mm.
Thursday nights. Um, and so like I wasn't really sure I could keep up the pace with everything else that happens in life. So yeah, but the 2 hour sessions have been uh, really a game changer for us, I think. It's it's just cool to be able to come home and like actually sit down and have dinner and not be rushed. And then at 7 p.m., everybody just sits down at their computer and logs on, and we spend you know, about 5 minutes catching up. Actually, the other guys probably are on there before I am, catching up and joking around, and then we get on, and um, it gives everybody something to look forward to during the week, I think. So.
Do you guys play on Discord?
No, we use Roll 20.
Roll
Well, I
20?
say that we Roll 20 for the virtual tabletop, but we do use
Hmm.
Discord for the
For the
audio
voice and
channel.
video? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even use the video.
Mm-hmm.
We and I know like I've got at least one friend who uh, doesn't like to not use video because,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand because it's we do sometimes talk over each other, but the nice thing like the guys, they're all nice guys, and um, they're really conscientious. And as the referee, I'm pretty conscious of trying to make sure that everybody gets to say something. Like if somebody gets talked over, I always go back to them and ask them, "Hey, such and such, what did you have to say?" And just try to like
Mm-hmm.
keep things and the group understands what I'm doing, that I'm not, angry, but I'm just trying to make sure everybody gets to participate.
Right, right. I've had some good luck with the players kind of self-policing that oh sorry I didn't mean to talk over you or oh sorry I thought you were done talking or you
Oh
go
yeah.
ahead and then I'll say what I'm going to say or whatever and people have really made an effort to make sure that everybody gets to play because there are people who are just like naturally shy and you're not sure if they're being shy in this moment or if they just don't have anything to contribute or
Yep.
they just need to like an acknowledgement, or just okay, what do you do, because they just don't want to put themselves out, so easily or maybe I don't know whatever their thing is, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
as a GM that's true. You have to make sure everybody has a chance to shine and gets some time in the limelight and it's not just somebody, the other player show,
yeah, I can't remember if we talked about this last year or not, but I actually when everybody logs on, I've got a notebook in front of me and I write down an order and I just go through the order over and over again. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
hmm
And then after a couple of those, or if it's an appropriate time, I'll go, "Hey, you guys, why don't you guys as a group spend a few minutes deciding what you're going to do, have a conversation, then we'll go back into the order." To really try to make sure everybody's got a chance to participate. And sometimes, like your character, you go, "Hey, David, what are you doing?" "Well, I'm just going to keep watch." "Okay, cool."
hmm
Um, and but at least they get to tell you what they're doing and contribute, some ideas or get on the radio and talk to somebody who's elsewhere, whatever is necessary. So, but
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, so how do you keep up with what's going on in 2D6 sci-fi RPGs?
Okay, yeah. This is something I wanted to talk about. There's so much going on, and there's so many places to get your information. And trying to do a podcast about this topic, it's really important to try to keep up with things. And obviously, there's at least what like there's at least 4 or 5 Discord servers about Traveller. They're not all super active, and or Traveller, you know, progeny, you know. Um, and then there's a ton of Facebook groups about Traveller. Um, and there's a lot of blogs. And I, since I got my iPad last year, um, I really come to appreciate RSS readers. Do you use one at all?
No, but I've always, when in the past for like nonprofit sites and stuff that I worked on, I've provided an RSS reader or a feed, and I got some feedback by a couple of people who said they appreciated it, but I have not met anybody in recent memory who even knows what that is,
Right.
or
It's
what to
funny.
do with it, or yeah.
So I'm a public librarian, and it's shocking how many people in my field don't really get understand or use RSS. Um, but I use it to keep up with blogs. So like some of the blogs I follow through RSS using this, it's an app on my iPad called Reader, and I use one called follow it called one called Signals from Delta Pavonis. It's a blog about Traveller. This one that Jeff and I have talked about on the show before that we really like a lot is called Adventures in the Distant Fringe. And it's a long running uh, campaign that they used the online Cepheus Engine reference document to create and run the game. And this guy writes up every session or every group of sessions, and it's been going for quite a while. But all the major blogs I've got in there, like Allegia's Downport, Ancient Faith in the Far Future, Basilisk Station. I follow Omer's blog, Den of the Lizard King,
Mhm.
and that I follow my own just to see how they, because I'd like to see what pops up. Um, Tales to Astound, which doesn't really publish a lot of stuff now, but their old stuff is really, really good. The Jodani Base, just yet another traveler blog. So
Mhm.
all kind of these classic ones, but it's great because I can just look at this and tell, uh, who's published new posts and get in there and read them. And um, it's a nice way to consolidate that information and uh, just not really miss anything. Uh,
What
and
do you get in the RSS reader? Just like the headlines?
No, no, it's
Or you get a full
there's different.
digest or
Yeah, yeah. So I'll show you if it should pop up. So I don't know if you can. You're not going to be able to see this at all.
no?
No. Um. So in there's a left-hand column that lists the blogs, and you can organize them by different whatever categories you want. I made one for gaming, and all the stuff is into gaming, and like if I tap on uh Ancient Faith in the Far Future, it gives me the title of the post, the date, and there's usually like a little picture that shows up. And then if I tap on that, it actually pulls the blog post into Reader, so you can read the whole thing on Reader,
Hmm.
including any embedded video or images. But from Reader, if you click the title again, it'll actually take you out to the website, and you can see it kind of as the author intended it to be read, as he or she formatted it.
Right.
Um,
I see.
and so yeah, and it's cool because like um, if you follow a podcast, it's almost definitely, unless I don't know if this stuff on Spotify has RSS feeds or not, but if you're following someone on Libsyn or Podbean or whatever, you can find those in your RSS reader too. So it's funny, like it's old technology,
Yeah.
like it's not a new thing, um, but I don't know, I found it really useful for the last couple of years actually. Um, and like that Reader app on my iPad, it syncs up with the one that I've got on my phone, and I've got the app on my computer too. So add it in one place and everything syncs up. And in this case through iCloud, but I know there's PC based versions of this, a lot of these things too. So I don't
Hmm.
know. It's a good way to keep up with stuff. And I probably spend maybe too much time reading all that.
I think I have RSS turned on for my site, but I don't use it personally, so I don't know its status.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so was it last year or the year before? Um, I guess I started this little blog about 2D6 science fiction games, um, because there were things I wanted to write about that I didn't feel like maybe needed to be handled on SAFCOcast.
Hmm.
And just other things I wanted to do to publish. So I created this new blog, and it's got its own RSS feed too. But I've been having fun with that because if I think of having thoughts about something, I just write it. I mean, and I I don't know if anybody really reads it or not. Yeah, like most blogs, right? I mean, I don't really know if anybody's reading it. I don't have any analytics on it. Um, but it's a place for me to store um, ideas that I've had. And then sometimes, like there have been times when I've just been bored and I will roll up a character and put the character on that blog.
Hmm.
And you know anybody could grab it and use it. And I'm not saying they're the most awesome characters ever, but they're it's fun for me.
Hmm.
And so like eventually I'll probably have a decent little stable of non-player characters I can draw from on that blog. So that's something else I've been doing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's something I found helpful too. Is like, um, I use my there's a bunch of hidden pages that you can't see that are just like my notes and ideas and things because it's easy enough just to log on there and I have like a hidden page of ideas. It's kind of like a slush
Yeah.
pile of stuff, and then I just go, oh, what about this idea, that idea, and then when I have time or whatever, I sit down and I empty that out of some of the high value stuff or whatever things that I've been wanting to work on or just had to back burner temporarily or whatever. And like you say, over time, you end up with a nice back catalog of stuff. I mean, sometimes I'm going, oh, for my game, I need this kind of calculator. Well, other people probably need that kind of calculator too.
Right.
So I just make it and put it on my website. And
Yeah.
so that's where the different like loot automatic loot and things like that come from because I'm a programmer, so I like to make little utility programs. So there's like a loot the room, what's here, and there's all kinds of weird stuff to find. So I made like maybe robotic pets. What kind of pet? What color is it? Um, what kinds of personal effects are in people's staterooms when you search them, basically. Or
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
in his pockets is another one, and it's stuff that you find in science fiction people's pockets.
I don't think I've seen this stuff. I'm gonna have to check that out because that sounds really, really fun and useful.
If you go to my site and go up to the search, you just type utilities, it should come up
Okay.
with all the
Cool.
utility programs.
Yeah, so but that's the RSS thing. And it's interesting that you have that page where you just kind of record ideas and whatnot. I feel like I'm I'm kind of like a compulsive blog creator. Like
Mm-hmm.
anytime something just kind of flies through my head, I'm like, I'm going to start a blog about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of my, if you take that blog that I just was talking about, and then I've got a bunch of stuff in Google Docs.
Mm-hmm.
And then lately, I've been using Apple Notes quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And my stuff is just, and then I've got actual physical notebooks. My stuff is just so spread out. It's really
Yeah.
quite
Been trying to
annoying
focus all my
sometimes.
stuff in Google. Now that Google has tabs in their docs, it's more like OneNote, which I found really, really useful. But now I can do the same thing in Google Docs. I'm just trying to keep everything in there. And they
Yeah.
also have, if you have Google. account, you also have access to Google Sites, so you can make your own
Yep.
wikis and things like that. So, like, I have some other projects that I'm developing where I've put together like user manuals and stuff for internal like, game design documents using Google Sites. Um,
Yeah, the nice thing about docs is like almost everybody uses it.
mhm.
So like
You can access it from your phone or anybody's computer.
yeah, I before we record any SafeCoCast, I always create some notes and share that with Jeff, and he adds what he wants to talk about. And so, we've always got the notes in front of us,
Hmm.
and it's so helpful for him or anyone else to be able to look at that document and edit that. Um, Whereas, like, I really love Apple Notes, but Jeff doesn't use it. Like,
Mm,
it's just not universal enough.
mm,
It's nice application. It syncs across all your devices perfectly. It's awesome, but if everybody's not on it, then it doesn't help very much.
right.
So,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
hard to get buy-in if everybody likes to do things differently or different ways. And it's also hard to find like software that does the thing you want just so. Um,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But I've been fiddling around with a lot of stuff like for my Traveller campaign. What's it called? A gazetteer, like an almanac of my universe. So
Hmm.
I started using Pages on my MacBook to create
Hmm.
it's and I download it every time I update it, I download it in a new ebook format. So I've got it like as an ebook on my iPad, and that's actually been really helpful and fun to
Mm.
have. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, it's all actually a little bit of a mess. Everything needs to be consolidated somewhere, and I'm not making much progress. I'm making it worse, like on a daily basis.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And where did I put that? Was that in? I really like Word, and it's on it's installed on my computer. Like I have like or Office 2007 or something. So no, I can't let it go. But but
Right.
yeah, well, I wrote my first book on that. I'm most proficient in Word, and I can make any kind of document and layout. And so that's what I naturally go for. I've been having to force myself to go over to Docs and do things in Docs, and then like I'll just copy stuff over from Docs into InDesign when I'm actually publishing a publication. Um, that needs layout. But otherwise
Yeah.
it's everything in just regular document format.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing about playing every other week, I found out recently that that's how a lot of people do it, and I've never even heard of that
Playing
until,
every other week.
yeah, until a few years ago when I was, um, it's been a while, since I was GMing. I had some players up in Canada and Australia and scattered across the U.S. And they wanted to play every other week, and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird, but okay. Um,
Oh, like what were you doing before? Like monthly or something,
no,
or every
weekly.
week?
Yeah,
Weekly. Oh,
every
okay.
week. Yeah, I couldn't. I've been playing since I was 15, and it's never been anything but every other week. I mean, every week.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's see how this works out. But I didn't like it because if you, like you said, if you miss one, okay, so if you miss a week, then it's like a month before you play again. Um,
Yeah, I'm
and
I'm
so
a
what
little
we ended up
worried about that.
saying, yeah, what we ended up doing is not canceling the game, but rather rescheduling it the same week. Like if we missed it, we'd do it the next day or the previous day.
I
Um,
I think what I'm gonna do
so much time didn't
is,
go between.
you know, with only 2 hour sessions, um, once we've started something and I kind of know the direction it's going and what I'm gonna need, it doesn't take that much prep. In
Hmm.
fact, like I may go 3 sessions without really having to prep anything new. And so, like, I think it's totally feasible for us to just play those 3 weeks in a row
Hmm.
and then um, tell them, hey guys, I need a week to prepare
The
like
next 3 weeks.
the next stuff.
Right.
And that might be a better way to go. I mean, it's not as easy to remember, but I think it might. Now that we're talking about that, I think it actually might be the best way. And because I've been prepping some stuff for this Tuesday's game this afternoon, and um, I it's something I'd been fiddling with for quite a while. And this afternoon, I finally sat down and with the iPad and my Apple Pencil and drew some little tokens and just dropped into Roll20, getting ready for it. Wrote down some rules for because it's classic Traveller. I like wrote some simple rules for this thing that they're going to do. Um, and I probably could have come up with all of that on the fly, but it's nice to at least take an hour to really think about it and have
It's
it go
better
a little
not
bit
to
more
interrupt, in my
smoothly.
opinion. Yeah, not better not to interrupt the game and go, oh, hold on while I make some tokens. No, no, it's just going to be a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Well, these tokens are like so it's not a secret to the players. Like they're they are entering a race through an asteroid field. And
Are they going to
so
make it in under 12 parsecs?
yeah, right. So I mean eh, so I just needed some little ship tokens, and I didn't feel like searching and buying some whatever. So I just used Procreate, and I made some simple little tokens. And there's only going to be 4 ships out of 16, including and what that's including their ship that are sort of in contention. Um, I just made each one a different color, and then I went into Roll20 maps, and I kind of drew a simple map to show the progress of each ship. But the thing is, I had like I say, since it's classic Traveller, there aren't really any rules for this. So I just cobbled together some guidelines that I think will make it a fun activity. Um, but they've got to go through the asteroid field, and there's 6 hidden beacons in the asteroid field. So they've got to make scanning rolls to find them, and then race the other ships to get them, blast them with it's a laser turret, but it shoots a data stream instead of a laser.
Okay.
And then once they've got to be within like a certain range, hit the token, and then head for the next token. And there's 6, and they've got to get through it. But the ships can shoot at each other with the data stream while all this is going on. Um, and so I just made some rules like if they hit, then it's going to reduce their maneuver by drive by 1, or it will roll randomly. There's other effects it can have on their ship. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's like ship to ship laser tag.
it could be fairly chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm using it's based on the ship combat rules from Cepheus Light, which are really good. They're very abstracted. It's a light game, but the cool thing is it gives every member of the crew something significant to do potentially every round of combat. And so they've used it now before, so they'll know the kinds of things that they can try to do to the other ships and what the other ships can try to do to them.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's all going on in space, the rest of the crew will be back on the planet, like observing simulations of what's going on out in the asteroid field and placing bets and potentially getting into all sorts of trouble. It should be a lot of fun.
It sounds
But
fun.
well, it'll give them a chance to use some of their ship combat skills without actually getting their ship blown apart.
Mm-hmm.
Because um, I a lot of my players, and I think a lot are they're hesitant to get into a ship fight because ship fights are expensive. Even if you win, you're going to probably have some expensive repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this will give the guy with Gunnery 3 a chance to really use Gunnery 3. And there's a big prize if they win, and blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
It should be a trip. It should be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, that sounds fun. I was just talking with somebody about like scavenger hunts or things like that, where you use your ship systems, but not to put your ship in danger, because a lot of people don't want to do that. That's your house. That's your fortress. That's your business location. I mean, it's more than just the $35 million or whatever it costs. That
yeah,
has high like secondary value. And yeah, so people don't want to get in fights. They always run from fights unless they grossly outmatch the other guy. And
right.
it makes sense. But
Yeah.
because of that, like you say, like a lot of the skills are wasted. So why not find fun ways? Go to this place, scan a thing, shoot a beam, leave a beacon, whatever. Register your transponder or something.
I think the only Jeff's character is the guy with Gunnery 3.
Hmm.
And he's gotten to use it a few times. But I mean, we're approaching 50 game sessions and he hasn't really used it that much. So that'll be fun. And anyway, that's
Hmm.
what's going on in the campaign. And I'm looking forward to running it. My goal Tuesday is to have enough energy after work and after dinner to really do a good job running the game.
When you blog for entertainment and record keeping purposes, have you thought about making like a character's log from a point of view of someone on the crew,
Yeah, so I
like a diegetic log?
yeah, so a couple of years ago, so our travel in our traveler group, there's this guy William, and he was running a D&D 5e campaign. And right before he and his wife moved to San Antonio, and we had to just shut the campaign down, um, I actually started a blog for my player character that's supposed to be like his journal. And it was super fun to write. Like, I mean, I miss the campaign a lot, but I really miss writing my wizard's journal. It was a really fun thing to do. So I suggested to our players that, hey, if anybody wants to do this, on our campaign blog, I'll create an area for you. And you can, and so this new guy that started with us this last year, Todd, he's a friend of mine from my Aikido dojo for many years. And, like I'm super careful about letting anybody into our gaming group because, like, we've all known each other for like 40 years. A lot of us went to the same junior high and we all went to the same high school. Um, but I knew Todd would be a really good match. And so Todd came in and he rolled up a character named Caliban, who he used the bureaucrat table from Citizens of the Imperium supplement. And it's been a trip having Todd in the game because it's before that, it's four retired scouts and a retired, or excuse me, three retired scouts and a retired army colonel. And then we throw in an imperial bureaucrat. And he's really like taken to the role. And it's been a really good addition, like skill wise, to the team.
Mm.
But Todd is so he started writing like the journal of Caliban Tisk, and every time he writes a new one, I just add to it on the blog.
Hmm.
But he's extremely creative. Like he works in the video game industry. I don't remember the name of the companies and stuff, but like he does visual effects and like his group was just nominated for like a visual effects award out in Hollywood for the company makes one the Doom video games. And so
Mm.
but like I didn't know this when I had no idea about this when I invited him to join the the group. I just knew that he was interested in gaming, and I'd asked him about Traveler before, and he expressed an interest.
Hmm.
But he's an amazing artist. Like he, you know, all the cool guns and all that stuff you see in video games, he's one of the
Hmm.
guys who creates all of that stuff.
No, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, so he did that and it's on our Traveler blog is the campaign's called Into the Void. And so the blog is called travelleritv.blog. And there's a link at the top, the Journal of Caliban Tisk. And the stuff he writes is really funny. And he like embellishes stuff in a really nice way. Like, stuff that it doesn't change the power balance of the game, but he just, comes up with names of foods and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
really
that's
funny to
cool.
read. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'd love it if some of the other guys did that, but not everybody's kind of uh, compelled to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I I keep a log for my own character stuff for the Traveler game that I play in, and I write it in my character's voice, which always puts himself as the hero, and the others helped.
Right, right.
And so when I read it back, and everybody gets mad.
Well, this guy, I don't, this guy rolled up a character that has admin 4
Hmm.
and some other skills, but I mean, admin 4 is really useful in classic Traveler. Like admin 4 like substitutes for broker, like when you're rolling on the trade tables and all of that stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
admin 4 tweaks things massively to your advantage doing trade in classic Traveler.
Interesting.
Um, but he really loves the role of being like the master of forms and procedures and writing up insurance claims and stuff like that. And I mean all the guys are great. Like my friend David, he's the guy who plays the army colonel. I mean, David can just on the fly come up with some of the most hilarious double talk you've ever heard. It's great. And the other guys are all fantastic too. Like William just be this doesn't benefit him in the game except to make the game more interesting for him, but I guess there are a lot of big, nasty, gross insect monsters in my game.
Hmm.
And so his character has developed, a fear of bugs.
Hmm.
And he plays it like that too. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going
Hmm.
near these bugs again." It's a lot of fun.
I love that. I love it. I love when
I
people
love
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Champions was going back to Champions for a minute. I just started a new Champions game. I was like, I'm not going to GM for a while, but the Traveler players that I play with wanted to. The GM wanted to play Champions, and so I was like, well, you've been GMing Traveler for a year. I guess I could do some Champions, and so I told them I'll just do a short amount, but it looks like it's going to be a lot more than I anticipated because everybody's having such a fun time.
It's a really fun game for
But
sure.
like
Yeah.
what I was what sparked my reference to that was having phobias and stuff like that, and have Champions was
Yeah.
like the first role playing game I ever played where you had
Your
disadvantages for your
psychological
character.
disadvantages. Yeah.
Hmm. And I
Yeah.
never really looked at it that way, like, oh, a code against killing, or a fear of flying, or a superhero with the fear of flying. That could be a problem, or fear of bugs, or things that happen along the way that the character just goes, you know what, or the player says, you know what, I'm going to take a 2 point or a 5 point, fear of bugs because of what happened, and I'll just pay it off later.
Well,
It's like, okay,
a,
wow, that's cool.
one thing I'm really pleased about in our campaign is I probably should get the rest of the group on SAFCOcast to ask them questions about the campaign and like how how they feel it's developed
Hmm.
because the thing with William's character Barney and the fear of bugs, um, they've all done stuff in character that's nowhere on their character record sheet. Like it's the result of like the organic growth of a character over well, we started this game in 2016, so it's been like 10 almost 10 years now. Um and like I I love that, man. Like to me, like that's the best role playing. It's the best role playing gets is when they're actually doing all this stuff. Like a few games ago, their ship is in maintenance right now, so they hired onto this other guy's ship, and um, you know, they've caused some problems for him, as you can imagine.
Hmm.
And so it was really interesting because Caliban, the bureaucrat, like the way Todd played him, you know, he's a real hard ass. He's like, no, well, we have a contract and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I really liked it that Jeff's character, Lucky, like in character, Lucky's like, "Ah, we didn't do him right." Like, I liked seeing that, not really conflict, but that interplay between the player characters. And
Hmm.
I loved that, like, Lucky, the guy who's been maimed multiple times, is like, I love that, like, oh, Lucky's got a big heart. Like, he doesn't feel good about this, and some of the others were ambivalent about it. And um, uh, yeah, I like that. It's 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 something that, like, I didn't force it on them. They just did it.
Hmm.
So, and
Yeah, I like that.
it's
I
it
like
was
when people take like voluntary, I want to say like role playing, or they develop some, like you're saying, the organic development of their character over time. You know, it makes it come out a certain way, or they people the players really latch onto it and make it playable through role playing in the game, because it's not just manipulating numbers for an advantage. It's
exactly, yeah,
it's playing
yeah,
your character, and going, like when in Champions the other day I said, okay, there's two cell phone companies, one's the premium and one's kind of like the knockoff, and like all the people who should have premium phones chose I want that carrier, and everybody who should have kind of the budget phone said I'll take the budget phone, and one character said I don't I'm poor, I don't have any cell phone, or whatever, and
yeah,
instead of like taking the going, oh, I'm going to get a free cell phone and taking one, you know what I mean?
right,
They're like,
yeah,
I have a phone, but I just use Wi-Fi calls because I can't really afford a carrier. I'm just a teen or whatever.
and like with regard to the stuff that happened in our campaign,
Hmm.
like it over the course of 10 years of playing the characters, you know, when you look at a Traveller record sheet, there's not a lot there, at least in classic Traveller.
Hmm.
And the characters don't really, quote unquote, get better significantly over the course of a campaign.
Hmm.
Um, so I feel like all of our players are at a point now where, like, even though they could roll up a character today that may be better than the character that they're playing, if the character died, they would feel it. Like, that's a real character to them, and they would really feel the loss of that, all that history.
Hmm.
And I think that's really. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm patting them on the back. Like, that's, to me, like, that's really good role playing.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's not to criticize people who are really into the tactical and all that. There's like something in this hobby for everybody.
Yeah.
But to me, it's really fun to see that kind of stuff. And I mean, they've been so creative with some of the stuff they've pulled lately. They're one of their favorite things to do now is they've got a non-player character, alien, that's in their crew who has Streetwise one or two, I can't remember, and they've been and he's very, like, unassuming, kind of the kind of character that other NPCs would underestimate. And they have him start rumors. Like I'll have him they're like, can you start try to just go out and tell people this is happening, you know? And so we make a roll, but they've successfully like used rumor starting to benefit themselves. Like,
That's awesome.
and but I mean, I think that's a really, to me, maybe I'm just not that smart, but to me, that's an ingenious use of streetwise,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I love
Um,
clever ways of play.
so anyway,
Using skills together, synergies that you didn't think about. And
yeah.
that's kind of where the like task chain kind of comes in for me as far as like a great idea. You were the expert at signal decryption, and I'm the expert at communications, and so you do that part, and I'll do this part, and together we'll accomplish the task. You know,
Yep.
um, so
Yeah,
that's.
we've had a lot of that going on too. So,
Hmm.
um, anyway, I mean, like the longer this campaign goes on, just the more I love it. Like the only thing about it that bothers me is that I'm 61 years old now, and like, you know, if we played till I'm 101, that's only 40 more years of play. Everybody else has to live that long too.
So you mentioned earlier that you're playing D&D. Are you playing fifth edition?
Yeah, yeah. So,
That you've
so
probably heard. Well, go on.
Oh, so yeah, so I like the history on that is so William, the guy who moved to San Antonio, that
Hmm.
I was playing in his campaign. So after they moved, my wife had been playing in the campaign, and like she was just really, I could tell she had just really caught on to how to play role playing games and is really getting the hang of the game. And so I was like, hey, if I started a campaign just for you and David and Randy, would you be interested in that? And she's like, oh yeah.
Hmm.
So, that's why I started that, and I've had a really good time with that one too. The thing is, the Traveller campaign like really prepared me to run a D&D game differently than a typical D&D game. Like, we'll go entire sessions of a D&D game without any combat.
Hmm.
Like, since there's only three-player characters, you can really get into the characters and have some really fun role playing. Let them use that long list of skills that they've got that aren't combat skills. They can use spells that aren't combat related spells, like stuff that, like, when I was a teenager, we would never have even taken that spell, but it's really
Hmm.
useful in this campaign. But like, so my friend David, who's in that game too, I think after a few games, I mean, I really appreciated this. He said, he actually said, this is the best D&D I've ever played. And that meant a
Hmm.
lot to me. But I think it's because of the years before that of running Traveller and learning how to do like something that's not, it's heroic, but not super heroic.
Hmm.
And like just learning how to make a game engaging without feeling like the characters have to constantly be fighting for their lives. So,
Right.
what were you going to ask me though?
Well, what I was going to ask is, there's a lot of editions of Traveler. There's GURPS Traveler. There's Auto Dual Travel. Sorry, I'm thinking Auto Dual GURPS. There's um, there's different kinds of versions of Traveler, and uh, the D20 Traveler and GURPS Traveler, and now they're thinking about rolling out. Not Mongoose, but another company is thinking about starting a Kickstarter to roll out a 5e conversion of Traveler. What do you think the pros and cons of that are?
Yeah, like I think like everybody else, I've been reading a lot about that and um, reading people who think, "Oh, it's a great idea," and then people who are like, "Oh, this sucks. I can't believe they've got the audacity to do this."
Right.
Whatever, like the opinions are kind of all over the place, and
Hmm.
um, like to me personally, like to play that. that's not interesting to me. Um, like I don't even know that I would buy it. Um, although like as a traveler podcaster, I kind of feel like I should at least be familiar with it if it actually comes out. Um, but I I suppose they're doing it to try to like get new people into like the traveler sphere. I don't know. I don't know what like I
It's
don't
not
think
Mongoose. It's a third party company.
yeah,
So
but
at first I was like,
they've
well, what are they?
licensed it.
Yeah, they've licensed it. At first I thought,
Yeah.
oh, well, that might be a clever way of getting people into the Traveler pipeline, but it's not. But it's not initiated by Mongoose. It's by
I mean
another company.
I so uh this is not intended to sound dickish. I question like whether like this idea that oh 5e D&D 5e players they're going to buy this and they're getting I don't really buy that. Like I mean yeah there might be some but I think a lot of people regardless of what system you're using have a hard time running science fiction. Even if you've got like a really well developed setting like the Third Imperium or whatever setting they happen to be using.
Hmm.
Um, I, and I have no evidence of this at all. It's just like my gut feeling is, I mean, and the reason I say that, I think that's why, fantasy role playing games are so gigantically popular. There's something about like anybody who's read Lord of the Rings kind of understands the tropes, right?
Right.
Um, and so I don't know. I'm skeptical about whether that would end up like creating like a big subculture of Traveler 5e players
Hmm.
or whatever you call it. It's not travel, whatever they would call it. Um, I'm kind of skeptical about that. It would be interesting to see. Um, the guy who's writing it apparently has legit like game design chops, right? Like he worked for GDW at some point. And I'm curious like how they would
These folks
handle.
made like the world's biggest dungeon or something. Everybody took a section and made the world's biggest dungeon. That's what their claim to fame is, as far as I know. And I don't know what their connection to Traveler is, or why they decided uh, or why they decided to do a 5e
Yeah, I mean maybe they
edition.
just thought it'd be fun. I mean,
Yeah,
it might
maybe.
be. I I mean, having not
I've
seen any
played the D20 version of Traveler, and it's not bad. I mean, um it's a good conversion, but it's not the mechanic that I want to play.
yeah, yeah, me neither. And it since nobody's actually seen this, it's all just speculation at this point. Like I'm really curious if the game would include like leveling, like in Dungeons
Hmm.
and Dragons,
Or
because
alignment. Does
yeah,
D&D still have alignment? I don't even
yeah,
know.
it does.
Okay.
But the leveling um, is the part that I think for me would be like the most contentious part because I think like the idea of actually leveling and whatever, getting more hit points and all of that, like to me, that fundamentally changes the game. You know, like you're, our group, they've been playing these characters for almost 10 years. None of them are more physically difficult to kill,
Hmm.
Um, and the thing I really like about Classic Traveler in particular is that, and I know some people hate this. I like the fact that there's no leveling, and I like that there's no experience points because I think it's very liberating to the game master and the players to not focus on like power level and all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's my players can concentrate completely on what's in front of them at all times, and they're not constantly thinking about, well, yeah, in two more games, I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to
Mm-hmm.
add this new feat or whatever. And, like it's not like that. And so again, it's all speculation. I think if that kind of stuff were added, um, to me, that's a seems like a more critical change than changes in mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, although honestly, I can be kind of a hard ass about classic Traveler. Like to me, like it's 2d6. Sorry. And I know people have played and enjoyed GURPS Traveler, and I love GURPS. Um, but like to me, it's 2d6. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, but I'm like also one of those people who totally doesn't think that Classic Traveler is broken. You'll hear, oh, it's old, it's broken, it doesn't do this or that. It's like, I don't think it's broken. I think it totally still works. You have to have different expectations of it though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like have they started the Kickstarter for that yet?
Yeah, well, I've been seeing it more like coming soon, I think, on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's actually started yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's Mongoose's game now. They can
Mm-hmm.
license it to whoever. I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but I would guess that when Mark licensed Steve Jackson Games to do a GURPS version, there were probably people who were like, "What? What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need that."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of, people want, and they've broken up into different camps. Some like only GURPS Traveler, and some only like Classic Traveler, and some only like Mega Traveler. And yeah, I don't know. Personally, I've always just played whatever the current edition was.
Yeah,
And
you've mentioned that before, and that's a totally decent way of doing it. I mean, I have the current edition,
mhm.
and there's
There's
no
no edition
to
that I fell in love with. I mean, I guess there's the like nostalgia factor of classic, but if somebody said want to play Classic Traveler,
not your
I would
deal.
say not my deal, precisely because there's no character advancement.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's fair enough.
mm,
Um, I know a lot of people feel that way, and I was, when we started our campaign, I was curious how our players would react to that. Um, and but almost 10 years later, everybody still enjoys the game.
mhm.
So it hasn't really
I,
hasn't
I
really
just
been
can't
an issue.
understand how you could be flying through space for 10 years and not improve any of your skills and be
Oh,
just as
well,
skillful as you were the day you left, the day you
like
retired, you know?
full disclosure, like I took the advancement rules from the little black books, which are hard, man.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, oh, after 4 years, you can roll and see if you've retained any of this and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's hard. Um, I made it easier. Like,
Hmm.
initially, it was going to be like, okay, I wasn't going to make them roll to keep the stuff. I was like, tell me two things you're working on. And after 2 game years, you just get those. And in the meantime, because you're practicing them, you either have them at level 1 or at a +1. Like if you're pilot 3 and you're working for pilot 4, while you're practicing constantly, you're at pilot 4. Um, and so, I mean, but I've already reduced the amount of time because we've spent so much time on specific planets over the course of almost 10 years that only like a year and a half of game time have gone by. So,
Oh,
um,
touche.
you know, so, um, they got their first two bumps in skill levels and new skills, whatever they happen to choose. And they're coming up on a second one. Um, and they all seem, you know, pretty happy with that. And um,
That seems fair. I mean, it was just a rub for me, it it eventually was taken care of. I don't use the mongoose way either. Um,
right, right.
we have the GM has like a chart, and every week he gives you one experience point, two if you did something clever and or funny or whatever. And after you have four or however many, the it costs different amounts to go up to the different levels.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can spend them out, and you just bump your skill by one. You don't get perks or new abilities or anything. It's just a simple skill increase
yeah,
or addition of a new skill. Um,
yeah.
so
Of
that's
course,
nice.
they're also the good thing about not having that much game time pass is they're still 2.5 years away from having to make another aging roll.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I never thought about that. I generally don't make people do aging rolls during the game, but now that you mentioned it.
I mean, it's funny. Like I've heard people go, "Who keeps track of time?" Oh, I keep track of time. Like if you look at the campaign blog, you'll
Hmm.
see like there's a beginning date and an end date for in imperial years for every session. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like
That's
I'm
cool.
keeping track of how much time has passed in game.
I've been
I'm
I've
not.
been trying to by using like there's like calendar plugins for Roll20 and Foundry as well. So I've been
Yeah,
trying to be better about that.
it's all there on the blog, man. The
Hmm.
that blog has been so useful for me. Like, for one thing, I like to go back every so often, and I'll just go and skim the previous games, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that happened. That's a loose end. I can go back to that now. Like,
Hmm.
this will be fun. They'll be like, oh, didn't we see that before? Yeah, we did.
Hmm.
Um, so and it's just a great way to share information about the campaign with the players. It's a great tool for me too. It's a lot of
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah. There's a thing called World Anvil that lets you kind of like fill out these like forums about different things about your world and stuff, and then it makes like a web page kind of um Bible, world Bible, I guess. You can say what pages, what things your players can see. So as you develop your world, they can access the lore and go, oh, this is this planet, and this is the religious sect there, or whatever all you've documented out. Um, it's pretty slick. You got to pay. I got in on it early, so I don't have to pay. I'm a founder, so I don't pay big
That
membership fee.
sounds like that sounds like one of these things. Like I'm always amazed by referees whose their setting is so well documented and like m
Most
mine's
players don't
not.
want to read the lore, though. That lore is all your of interest to the person who made it, and really nobody else.
I yeah
But
you,
if you could digest that into a manageable chunk of bullets or something that is pertinent to the players, that is easy to digest, then yes.
I think that one thing that's helped in our game is that even after all this time, they've stayed in a pretty close region of space. Um, like um, from where they started, the planet that they started on, they've gone into the next subsector toward the core, and they've gone into the next one rimward. But um, they've revisited a lot of planets, and so they like just from kind of running the campaign small like that, they have a really good understanding of what the different planets around there are like. Even though like they're free, they can go wherever the hell they want to. They
Hmm.
understand that. Um, but they've got a good understanding of it, I think. Yeah.
Hmm. Lucky my players look at my subsector and go, "What's in this next subsector over?" I don't. Never mind what's over there. Stay in this subsector. We're playing in this one.
Yep, yep.
Why did I detail, 30 planets for or systems for you if you're just going to go to another map that I didn't prepare?
I the thing is, I always get to this point where like I so even in the subsector that I have fleshed out pretty well, they haven't been to all the planets and they've never asked about a lot of them. And
Hmm.
so, you know, maybe this is bad refereeing, but like sometimes when they're going to a new planet, I look at it and I'm like, that's not what I want, and I just change it.
Hmm.
Like they haven't asked. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't,
they've never
like
been there. They're not going to know.
I I'm like I just change it to what I need.
Hmm.
Um and that hasn't really broken the game at all. No.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about collecting old Traveller stuff? Last time I talked to you, you were slowly building up a Traveller collection.
Yeah, I've got most of the old GDW adventure and double adventure books now. There's a few that I don't have, but I've got most of those. Um, some of the quote unquote books, like I don't have the Scouts book. Uh, I mean, in physical form, I don't have like an original printing of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have merchant prints. There's a few that I don't have, but I'll probably try to acquire those over the next couple of years. And I've been I've been buying um, groups of old traveler zines that people have created back then. Like
Mm.
he'll get on eBay and it's like, oh, here's this cool traveler zine that someone in Canada did 10 issues of or something like that.
Mm.
So I've actually got these physical like Xerox copied zines now
Oh,
up on the
cool.
shelf. Yeah, yeah, they're great. They're really
There used to be
creative
one
and
called Far and Away, and I don't know whatever happened to it. I really
I can't
enjoyed it.
remember if I've got that one. I'm gonna
Mm.
look at my list. Let's see.
I think it covered like Traveler, Mech Warrior. It was all sci-fi RPG um,
Well, I
focused.
mean, there used to be all these great magazines too. Like I used to really like Space Gamer,
Mm.
and there was another one. What's it called? Different Worlds. I liked
Mm.
Different Worlds a lot too, and they covered different games. Okay, let's see. Traveler books I have. Um, so I've got adventures 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Devil Adventures 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. I've got all of those CD-ROMs that Far Future Enterprises put out, like the collections of the old stuff, the
Hmm.
Apocrypha, Classic Traveler, Canon, all that. I've got a few from Judge's Guild. Um, I've got 12, 17, and 15 from GDW's Journal of Traveler's Aid Society. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of High Passage. I've got some stuff from FASA. I've got in physical format. I've got all of them in electronic format, but I've got
Hmm.
number 1 and 2 of Rob Eaglestone's recent Expo zine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one I was really stoked about because Jeff found this. I think he found it on the internet someplace. It's a PDF of this article that Mark did called Luna, a Traveler's Guide. And it's this really great, write up of the moon.
Mm.
I found it printed. I found a printed copy that was published by, I can't remember who the publisher was, but I got that. There's another one, a zine called Alien Realms. There's another one called Between Worlds. Um, and then I've got a bunch of the Mongoose books too. I mean, I know there's people that have everything or like lots more than I do. It's the thing I
It's
like about
nice
the
to
old,
like recreate, as an adult to have the collection you always wanted when you were a kid.
right, you have the money and it's funny because like you think about buying the little black books on eBay, like, oh my God, that's $75 or something.
Mm,
They were like $15 back in 1980, and that doesn't like with inflation, that's not far from being $75 today.
mm-hmm,
So like if you figure it out in the inflation, like the pricing's still pretty good.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I did the Traveller 5 Kickstarter. I've got that in physical format.
Mm-hmm,
Um, this is like a little view into the paranoia of my mind. When so when Mongoose when they announced that Mongoose had bought the whole IP,
mm-hmm,
I was like, okay, there's some stuff that I want to always have copies that I can give away, like the
mm,
Traveler Facsimile Edition. And I don't know, maybe they're going to put a stop to that.
mm-hmm.
They may have their own
Right.
ideas. So I have like 9 extra copies of the Facsimile Edition. I just ordered a whole bunch of them. They're all just sitting up there. So yeah. Anyway,
That's
I
awesome.
but the cool thing about collecting this old Traveler stuff is the books are small, so they don't take up much shelf space. Like I don't really like collecting stuff because I don't like having a bunch of junk all over the house. But these are like compact, so it's
Mm-hmm.
a nice thing to have.
Yeah, right, right. All right, man. Well, cool. Well, Bob, we're at the end of our list of things that we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah,
I'm
I guess the
super
only other
glad you
thing I've
came to
been
join me. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say I'm very this is something I'm excited about. I'm currently reading the final book, number 33 in the Doomerist of Terra saga.
Oh, cool.
So, like, I s- in 2018, something like that, I started reading the Doomerist saga as soon as I found out that Mark based so much of Traveller on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, like I just started the last one last night, and
That's a lot.
uh, yeah, they're short novels, but
Mm,
you also like they're the kind of novel you want to spread out over a few years because, you know, they're it's pulp science fiction and you know, there's a lot of repetition, that because
mm,
like they're
mm,
designed so that like you could jump in on book 23 and it's going to explain everything.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm pretty happy to be finishing that. Um, and yeah, so
Yeah, that's
who
cool.
else?
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I've also been reading all the Alan Dean Foster
Love Alan Dean
novels.
Foster. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading his the books that he did in his Humex Commonwealth setting, and so I've read
Mm,
all the standalone ones, uh, and I've read. I'm almost. I think I've got one more trilogy left in there, and then I've got to finish the Pip and Flinks novels too. But they're great fodder for Traveler.
mm-hmm.
Like they're even though I like it's never mentioned like I don't think they were an influence on Mark really, but like it's the same kind of they're space adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, but I made when I was in high school, I wanted to read all the Alan Dean Foster at the library because, it just had a lot of good stuff. I mean, even did he? I think he wrote the book for Alien.
he did. There's
Yeah.
some really funny interviews with him about that on YouTube because like the information they gave him to write the novelization, they didn't tell him what the alien actually looked like.
Oh.
He had to write the novel without knowing what it looked like. I got a real great nerd boy uh, geek out moment a year or two ago because I emailed him and he emailed me back and I was like,
Oh,
yes,
cool.
man, I'm totally nerding out.
I had my last two starstruck moments were when Mark Miller first agreed to be on this show. I was like, I'm talking to my hero. It's like like talking to like a D&D nerd talking to Gary Gygax, you know. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then the other one was Neil Stevenson came to town,
Oh,
and he was promoting Eve, I guess. And I went down, and there was only like one person ahead. He was like at George R. R. Martin bought a art house theater here and converted it, put a little bar in there, and so anyway, Neil Stevenson was having a book signing there, and we had just come out of a function, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I brought my snow crash for him to sign.
cool.
It's all tattered, and I felt so embarrassed.
Well,
I should have brought a new one, you know.
after you stop the recording, I've got a fun story to tell you.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty much, I think, covered all of our topics then, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's hopefully somebody will enjoy listening to this. I'm always amazed that you want me on the show because I don't like, especially now we haven't been producing that many podcasts, but I love talking about the game, man. I could talk about
Yeah,
it
I think
forever.
uh well, I like to promote Traveler, and we've promoted it from the publisher's point of view, but I want to have from a player's point of view because
Oh, okay.
a lot of people don't, they've never played this game, they never heard of this game, they don't know what it is, and when they hear the players speak with passion and love of this game, I think it's contagious and it makes people go, I'm going to look into this game, or
So,
a space scout, that sounds fun, or or whatever.
so one thing I would leave like anybody who hasn't played before, and um, even now, I think even if you pick up like the core book from Mongoose, I was surprised when I got it that it's not about the Third Imperium, right? Like the core rule book is really it's
Everything you
very
need.
sandboxy, right?
Hmm.
And um I if you go to our website, safecocast.com, there's no E, SAFCO cast.com. If you don't listen to anything Jeff and I talk about, but we've in the sidebar, we've got a list of websites about Traveler, and some of them are blogs about campaigns, like whatever Adventures in the Distant Fringe. I think that was what it's called. But there's a
Hmm.
few that are like that. If you get the book, or you're sort of like wondering what could I do with this, check those blogs out, and like it'll really open up your mind as to what you can do with a book of like really it's really just the mechanics and character generation and not much setting. Like it'll open your mind about what the possibilities are because I think that's an
I
issue
never
for a
played
lot
in
of
the
people.
official setting. Yeah, no, that's the thing that was appealing to me was coming up with my own Traveler universe and how I see things to be. And Traveler was flexible enough to let you make up your own setting and imagine the things the way you see them in your head.
Right.
Um, and so I kind of fell in love with my Traveler setting, so I never was really tied to the Third Imperium. Although the source books are really great if you're having writer's blog writer's block, or if
Right.
you're just looking for ideas, because it's so fleshed out and thorough. They really did a good
Yeah.
job on the setting. Yeah.
It's yeah, yeah, for sure. But check out people's campaign blogs um, and just get an idea like what's really possible with the game.
Bob, is it possible to get in touch with you on the socials, or is it just primarily through your SafeCoCast website?
Well, it is. If you're on Discord, I'm I'm on pretty much all the Traveler related Discord servers and Cepheus Engine stuff. It usually says Bob from SafeCoCast.
Hmm.
And I'm on my last name's Loftin, Loftin. I'm I'm a member of most of the ones on the groups on Facebook too. And you might even find me occasionally on Citizens of the Imperium. I'll post something there or just like read something and maybe reply if I have anything. I mean, the people on Citizens of the Imperium are pretty damn knowledgeable. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm I'm out of my league with regard to a lot of that stuff there, but I do enjoy reading some of the stuff and you know, getting the advantage of other people's experience. So,
All
yeah.
right, cool.
All
All
right.
right, folks. Well, thanks again. We've come to the end of our interview. I've been speaking today with Bob Loftin, creator of SAFCOcast, your source for online Traveller and Cepheus Engine podcasts. Thanks again, Bob.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
And thank you, fellow traveler. Until next time, happy traveling. Want more Traveller content from Bob Loftin? Tune into SAFCOcast, his traveler-focused podcast. Scan the QR code, use the link on screen, or check the description below to start listening. If you enjoyed this interview, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss future episodes. And tell me, how many hours does your average game session run, and how often do you play? Let me know in the comments. A quick thank you to my patrons. Your support helps make events like Mayday and interviews like this possible. If you'd like to support the channel and get behind-the-scenes access, early content, and more, you can join us on Patreon. And to everyone already supporting, thank you. I truly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Check out one of these videos next. And I'll see you on the next transmission.